Something that keeps coming up, you probably have seen all these videos where like Phenom is interviewing all these top Japanese players and asking them who your top 5 is. And one thing many of you know, right, is that universally most people think JP is the strongest character. Some people say he's second or third or something, depending on who you ask. Now, if you've ever followed CatCammy or looked at CatCammy's Twitter, you probably know that this is the place to go to get all the news about the qualifications for Capcom Cup. As you can see, Luke at the very top, Sajam Sandblast with 10. Then there's 7 with DJ and Ken, 5 Juries, 4 Chun Giles. And then way down there with 3, Dalsum, which is very interesting, and then JP. And then Cammy at 2. Quite interesting, right? Like this character, JP, is supposedly the best. Let's talk a little bit about this, and we can answer a larger question with this. The Capcom Cup this year, the Capcom Pro Tour, is not designed to get the best 48 players in the world and send them to Capcom Cup. Before, when there was offline stuff, the tour was like a point system. So, you know, you had to travel around the world, playing all kinds of different events, and how many points you had, or if there's auto qualifiers for the large one, you could win those and auto qualify. And that tour, you guys may remember there was 32 people qualified, and every year there was like 16 players from Japan. And then the rest of the world got the other like half because the Japanese players are just really good and they qualified by running around playing everywhere, right? In this tour and how the modern tour works, they break it up into online regions, and then each of the online regions gets qualifiers, 1 or 2. So this year, if you're from Japan, which is like, let's say the strongest region in the world for Street Fighter, you get 2 slots. You get 1 World Warrior slot, you get 1 CPT qualifier slot. Both are winner take all, and then that's it. The thing about a character like JP in particular, take like the top 20 JPs in the world, how many of them are from Japan and China? Almost all of them. Like the best JP in the world, most people agree is Kakadu, right? He's not qualified because there's only 2 slots in Japan, and one of them went to Fudo, and the other one went to Kawano. 2 Evo champions for Street Fighter. It's very difficult to make it in for the character. And that character in particular is very heavily represented in Japan. Same thing with Cammy, actually, right? Cammy is really popular in Asia, not as popular in the West, especially in the US. It's like Punk. And then Knuckle-Doo as a secondary. So different places in the world have different representation. Same thing with DJ. How many top-level DJ players are there in North America compared to Japan and Asia in general? Like, I think most people agree that the best DJ is Fudo. He won the qualifier in grand finals against another DJ player. So Yamaguchi is good enough to make it to Capcom Cup. He was like 1 set away, right? And then there's also people like Sasamo and other strong DJ players from Japan. And then Asia has a bunch in general too that are really good. You know, obviously Sien, obviously Hot Dog, all these other good players, right? So the reason JP is not super qualified for Capcom Cup, to me, the biggest reason, most of the strong JP players are centralized in 1 or 2 regions, and it's very hard for them to qualify in. But then also that the character is hard to play in tournament at a high level. You know, characters like Luke, DJ, Ken, Jury, Chun, God, like these characters generally, more players all around the world will like have easier access to them and not drop stuff and die in tournaments to the same degree. So with how things are now, like, yeah, you just don't see as many JPs as there are represented for how the character power level is. It's not like JP is worse than all of these characters because he's qualified less, or like Jury. I don't think anybody really thinks that Jury is better than these 2 characters in the modern game. There's a reason for it, right? You have to look at where everybody's qualifying from around the world. Honestly, if the qualification was normal, I think Luke and Ken would still be really high, but I think there'd be way more JP, and I think there'd be even more DJ, actually. And I think the Japanese Cammy players would have qualified. When is the Capcom Cup X? The Capcom Cup X is in February 16th, 2024 to February 25th. So a month from now. Everybody's qualified but 2 people. This tournament this weekend is going to be one of the qualifiers, and then the last one is the LCQ on site. The other thing about Capcom Cup is that the LCQ is going to be a disaster. Think about how many good players are not qualified. All the best players in the world will be there. The LCQ is going to be so fucking hard. If you're like a top 5 player in the world, your chances of winning the LCQ are not even that good. That's another thing too. You have to be there for a while. It is quite a commitment. The LCQ is like 3 of the days, and then there's like SFL is a day or something, right? Or is it more than 1 day? I don't even know. It's got to be a group stage, and then it's got to be the finals day, and like there's like a bunch of days. If I was commentating, I couldn't tell you. And if I get asked to commentate, I'm gonna say I can't be there for like 10 days, right? Like that shit is too long. I'm down to like do like 3 or 4 maybe, right? 5. They gotta rotate or something, split it up, you know what I mean? Yeah, imagine me on day 10. What's up, guys? It's your boy back at it again. How to make some noise. All right, everybody. Like, I'm just still trying to survive and shit.
Listen.
Why is Adam Sandler at the side of my Start GG page? Because this event is Click 2006, the full movie, happening September 21st to the 21st in Texas. And they got a bunch of different stuff. They got GTA Bowling, Warhammer Vermintide, Ricochet, Buck Bumble. Krakatoa registered for it in the middle of the night, and I had to know. So I clicked it, and I don't regret it. I'm gonna keep clicking on it, so it's always in the side of my Start GG page.